Well, it looks like the police have some explaining to do in Ohio. Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus, thank you, DeJesus, treated as sex slaves, kept chained and taped in separate rooms, but only for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, they got there, the first responders. It took them, only a decade. There were 5 pregnancies.
Combined, the 3 women were impregnated up to a total of 5 times, mercilessly beaten. The only surviving child of the pregnancies, a terrified 6-year-old girl saved from the house along with her mother, Barry, dig up the home's backyard to look for the other babies' bodies. Now, were these just tumors? Or were these actually birthed? Because this is being called a house of horrors, and of course the media cares about this one, but they don't care about what happened in Philadelphia. So I'm wondering if these were tumors or if these were maybe babies old enough to discover how old that there was tomorrow, as Peter Singer would say.
That's why we're digging up the backyard to find out if there's Buicks buried there or spoons.
Right, because they could be anything. Before they come out of the woman's body, they could be anything.
That's right.
So why are we horrified? Why are we horrified? Why is the media suddenly horrified about what might be in the backyard? Because we also know that Philadelphia had viable babies, viable fetuses, if you will. Viable babies were killed, and nobody cares about that. Now, all of a sudden, everybody cares, and I'm just trying to figure out why. Authorities plan to dig up the bones. Their first victim, Knight, may have suffered hearing loss from the years of beatings to her head. She appears to have facial bone damage. Is there, I heard you guys talk about a water slide to the electric chair yesterday, and you said there's no faster way. You would like a water slide to the electric chair, and that is assuming that you couldn't electrify the water.
See, this is why your name's on the network.
Exactly right, because you guys were like, and if we could just electrify the water, so when he gets into the chair off of the water slide,
well,
and
I was thinking into the water where there's a pool filled with toasters.
Right, but that electricity would flow up the water slide. So the minute you got on the water slide, it would be like all the way down into the pool.
So you want it to be a pleasant ride down?
No, I want it to be your idea is the pleasant ride down to the toasters. You forgot that electricity travels through the water.
Well,
so
that's true.
The minute he's in the water, it's a water slide to hell.
What about if it's a water slide then off of a cliff? Because then you have he's electrified there, and then he goes off the cliff, and then you just dispose of the body at the bottom of the very deep ravine.
I personally think you would put the toasters at the top of the water slide, so he has that water electrified all the way down, and then the pool, the wave pool, if you will, is not water, it's acid.
Okay.
All
right. Okay.
And that way he's electrified all the way down into acid. And I don't think he's alone. I think we get to see that 3 times. I read about the first electrocution in New York, and it's a really sad and tragic story. The first time that anybody that Edison pushed to have somebody electrocuted, or Westinghoused as he called it, and it is really a sad story about the guy who was electrocuted. He was a monster to begin with, but by the time they electrocuted him, he had changed, and he was really a remarkable man. And then electrocution, as designed by Edison, was horrific, absolutely horrific. I don't think that there is a horrible way for these guys to die. Now, the Jesus part in me says, yes, Glenn, vengeance is mine, not yours. But can't we bend that a little bit for these guys?
You might make an exception here. It's possible.
Knight told the cops there had been another woman in the house when she first got there in 2002, but she suddenly vanished. Writing was found on a wall in the basement with a woman's name and the words "rest in peace," but the cops say they don't know if that's connected to the case. No, the cops say they don't know if it's connected to the case. I'm sure that was just some other random "rest in peace" with a woman's name on it.
Probably
from
the previous owners.
Previous owners. The FBI say it plans to ask the women whether they know anything about Ashley Summers, who disappeared from the same neighborhood at the age of 14 in 2007. We're hoping that it's connected and the girls knew where she was. We're hoping for a miracle. I don't think you're going to find one here. Neighbors say they called cops 2 years ago. They saw a naked woman crawling around. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Neighbors say they called the cops 2 years ago when they saw a naked woman crawling around Castro's backyard, but officers dismissed it as a prank. Another call was reportedly made when neighbors saw 3 girls crawling around on all fours with nothing but dog leashes around their neck. Remember, these are the people that you are hired to. The president is trying to tell you they'll protect you. They'll protect you. How many calls did they get? Remember, you see something, you say something, they dismiss it. And in the end, if you don't have a way to protect yourself, you got nothing.